So, the importance of globalization in the contemporary world is that it has boosted the developing world's economic prosperity and opportunities. So, the civil freedoms in the countries around the world have been increased as a result of globalization's more effective use of the resources. So, the countries that participate in the free trade is to make more money. Benefits of the rise of the global corporations. First is the increased flow of capital. This means that increased trade to larger and more markets is equal to greater revenues and GDP. And the world GDP grew from 50 trillion in the year 2000 and 75 trillion in the year 2016. Better products at lower prices. The quality and cost are both improved by the global market rivalry. And the task outsourcing also helps to cut prices because many companies hire foreign laborers to do the work for lesser wage. Collaboration and shared sources. By pooling resources and efforts, greater creativity and innovation can be applied to the problems that affect people all over the world. And the NGOs adopt a collaborative approach to address the challenges that transcend boundaries, such as child labor, human trafficking, healthcare, and disease prevention. Cross-cultural exchange. People who travel around the world for work or pleasure and sample new foods, listen to new musics, read new books, becomes exposed to new media outlets, and learn to communicate themselves in another language even if it's poorly, gain a broader view on the world. Then, their newfound understanding aids in the development of greater empathy and admiration for persons from diverse cultures. Spread of knowledge and technology. The investors are typically drawn to developing countries because of their enormous growth potential, and the innovations that result have led to things like the introduction of motorized agricultural machinery in Southeast Asia, where there was previously only human labor. Quick technological advances. Being able to sidestep the long technological development process of industrialized countries, in particular, allows emerging countries to make rapid progress. Cell phones, for example, arrived swiftly on the African continent, with the cell phone usage increasing every year in sub-Saharan Africa and surpassing 90% in the nations like South Africa. Increased household income. Because of increased competition on the global market, many previously pricey pleasures such as laptops, vehicles, and washing machines are now within the reach of majority of people. According to the European Center of International Political Economy, globalization has helped lower high inflation rates in Western economies, allowing consumers to spend more money. Increased open-mindedness and tolerance. People are more able to perceive their shared humanity and respect others as equals if they have networked with individuals from around the world, chatted with them about their problems, and eaten their food and culture. Disadvantages of the rise of global corporations. First is the multinational corporations create higher environmental costs. This means that the lack of comprehensive environmental legislation is one of the key benefits that multinationals find in conducting business in developing countries. When firms can outsource production to nations with weaker standards, they can cut prices, but they also can cause harm. Multinational corporations don't always leave profits local. For domestic employees, more education and job training open them new possibilities. However, once the investments are completed, the company's profits are typically repatriated for use in other regions. Multinational corporations import skilled labor. The time it takes to develop local skills that enable high levels of productivity is measured in years, not weeks or months. Multinationals invest in local people to improve their abilities, but they also need to get their business up and running quickly. To meet their needs, most corporations in this situation will import skilled personnel from other economies. Multinational corporations create one-way raw materials resource consumption. Many multinational corporations enter a new country with the intention of extracting raw materials without regard for infrastructure, using oil, rubber, or precious metals to make products. These extractions activities may result in a variety of environmental issues over time, ranging from river contamination to landscape loss. Multinational corporations encourage political corruption. Many workers in poor countries earn less than $2 a day, making income generation a challenge. Politicians and officials usually siphon off money, causing tremendous disruption at the local level with only small reimbursements from the government working with corporate. Multinational corporations support sweatshop labor. Sweatshop labor is commonly viewed as a negative for local economies, although some experts argue that any work and income is preferable to none at all. Inadequate labor conditions allow multinational corporations to reduce salaries as much as possible in order to boost their profit margins. Even though minimum wages are mandated by the government, employees in impoverished countries get a pittance. Multinational corporations remove jobs from their home country. Manufacturing employment is frequently outsourced, with multinational corporations focused on the Southeast Asia due to lower labor costs. These businesses may contribute to the growth of other economies, but they may also cause job insecurity at home. Multinational corporations build legal monopolies. Despite the fact that multinational firms' assets are managed through a centralized framework, governments treat each side as a separate entity, thus giving the companies more leeway in how the consumer markets are being handled. Example is Google currently owns 63% of search engine traffic handled, for example, compared to 24% for Bing and 11% for Oath. Multinational corporations put other companies out of business. Suppliers are under constant pressure from their retailer to deliver the lowest cost feasible. This puts a strain on suppliers because the retailer size permits to secure concessions that eat into local revenues.